All right, since we've worked on our hip dominant exercises, let's work on some knee dominant exercises, okay? And the diversity of kettlebells and how we can accomplish, exercises that create a little bit of different demand rather than hips to the knee side, the quad dominant side. So we got goblet squats are the most basic one that we teach. I mean, outside of a body weight version, okay? So goblet position, you can hold it this way. You could hold it this way too. So it really just depends on what they're kind of the same thing. I like to teach it holding it by the horns right here, okay? And I always teach people to screw their feet to the ground, create that rotational torque for their hips, kind of gets the glutes engaged and just allows for better tracking in my opinion. Okay, then we're initiating movement at our hips. So sitting back, deep breath, get parallel, exhaling back up. Okay, so we got the goblet squat, all right? Outside of the goblet squat, we got a front squat, okay? Where we're holding two kettlebells in this racked position, all right? I'm actually gonna grab my son's. Yes, I have these little 8-pounders for my son, okay? We're in a front rack position here, okay? You can load this up really good with some heavy bells, okay? And when we're in this front rack position right here, it's forcing us to stabilize two individual loads rather than a barbell, okay? I think this is much more functional for an athlete than a front squat with a barbell, okay? However, so first of all, when we're in this rack position, making sure that our fists are almost right underneath our chin. They can be slightly apart here. We don't want them together, okay, but slightly apart. And we got to make sure that we keep a force driven up, especially as we're using heavier kettlebells. All right, and our abs, you'll notice in this position, especially when you grab some heavier bells, your abs are really firing. Okay, then we're just doing a front squat from this position. All right, again, screw the feet in, deep breath. And drive the elbows up as you squat is the cue I like to use. All right, so we got front squats, an excellent variation for quad dominant or knee dominant. Then we got our half rack squatting, okay? So our half rack squatting right here in this half rack position, okay? Same as the other rack position, just one-sided. All right, when we have a one-sided load, obviously it creates more of a stability challenge for the human body, okay? Typically the opposite side. What I like to teach, again, outside of screwing feet into the ground, is that opposite arm is there to counterbalance. So a deep breath. And again, kind of driving that elbow up as I squat. All right. Again, based on the sport, I just think that's an incredibly functional exercise. I think it's incredibly functional for just parents that hold kids. You can find a ton of application, I'm sure. So there's your half rack squats, and then we got our half rack lunging, or we can just do goblet lunging. Okay, so just again, giving you some ideas for some knee dominant exercises. All right, our goblet lunge. Okay, it could be, if your progression is reverse lunge first before front lunge, like it is for me, you can do goblet lateral lunge. So you can work all planes here. All right. Now, you can do half rack. So once we've done well with maybe a stable, more stable, balanced load, is you can do your half rack lunging. Okay, and it's always the opposite. So the leg the side that isn't racked is the side that's moving forward. Okay. Although you can do a same side, all right? That can be a variation, but I'm looking for opposite effect here, okay? Contralateral work here. All right, so that's gonna be a great, now obviously you can do reverse lunges with that, lateral lunges with that. And then we can bridge that to rear foot elevated, or excuse me, we can progress that to rear foot elevated split squat. One of my favorite single leg exercises, quad dominant exercises. All right. You can start in the goblet position. All right, foot flat, outside edge and heel of the foot on that front leg. And we're getting parallel and coming back up. All right, deep breath. All right, so obviously we can go from this position, we can load it on the opposite side to provide more of a medial effect. Other side for more of a lateral effect. Then we can grab with 2 kettlebells. Okay, so we can grab, if we want to load it significantly more. Oop, lost my balance there. Okay, we can really get a strength benefit. You can do front squat variation in this too with two racked. All right, again, it all just depends on what your patient is looking for. So that's a great quad dominant exercise. And then we got single leg squats. Okay, single leg squats where more of a pistol version. All right, where I can sit my butt back to a bench or a box. If you got a lower box available to you, obviously you can work towards parallel, or you can stand on a box or a bench, okay, and work that single leg squat variation. Okay, so you're not limited at all by using kettlebells for quad dominant or hip dominant exercises.